Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to 2-Minute Drill, the first pitch-only show that features entrepreneurs from all walks of life, competing each week for a mix of cash and prizes. Hosted by legendary entrepreneur, sports executive, and investor, David Meltzer. Contestants have just 2 minutes to deliver their most convincing pitch ever. Who will fold under the pressure?
Dude, maybe you need to go get some therapy. I don't think anyone's gonna work for you.
And who will thrive?
I thought your pitch was outstanding.
After the pitches are complete, the judges will deliberate to decide our champion.
You need to, in my opinion, figure out how you can niche down so crazy small that it's perfect.
Will they rise to the occasion?
So we just missed that heart inside the pitch. It would change everything.
Will they blow away the judges?
I thought your pitch was amazing, and every step of the way you were hitting it. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm going check, check, check.
I love how concise you were about the value. It saves money and it saves time.
Will they be crowned champion?
Your 2 minutes starts now.
David Meltzer hosts 2-Minute Drill.
Thank y'all all for your
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Relativity of the Future training. And I have been studying the past, present, and future for so long, and we are blessed to be here. We're going to introduce the group in a minute and get started. We are going to have our normal 30-minute training and then Q&A. So we have Ramon, Ray, and Scott Simon in the background on our Breakfast of Champions, where we have, here it is.
Whatever you want to do. We got another experience coming up right now. This is the Dave Meltzer Power Hour in Training, as you've been doing for 20 years or more. David Meltzer and Nick, the mic is yours, gentlemen. Thanks so much.
Happy Valentine's Day, Ramon and Scott. You guys show up, and I love the way you show up, and I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing both of you. It's been way too long, and I hope there's love in the air and lots of music everywhere for everyone. We are going to do a training today. We've been doing it for over 26 years. So ever since Ramon was born, I've been doing this, and we are blessed, blessed to be pouring into our community, which is growing, and anyone that would love to join us in our private networking groups and our free Friday trainings, all the different things that we're doing over 200 cities in different tours. We'd love to have you join us. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'm going to go ahead and let the Nick of WAM set the room before we get into the Relativity of the Future training. So many of us don't have the right relationship, which means we don't have the right relative perspective of the future. And instead of inspiring us and making our future easy, we create interference and make it this easy. Nick of Wam, hopefully you're awake. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning and happy Friday. How are you this morning, my friend?
I am awesome. I love Valentine's Day. My wife and I have an entire day and an entire night planned together, and dropping my son off at Knott's Berry Farm so that we are both easy and free for the entire day, and lots of surprises coming our way. But Womness, let's get going on the relativity of the future. I know your future is bright. It's so bright. It's almost as bright as your smile. Go ahead, set the room, and let's get started.
Absolutely. And happy Friday to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're joining us online as we are streaming everywhere, or if you're live here in the Breakfast with Champions, of course, the best room in community and clubhouse. As David mentioned, today's training is the relativity of the future training. So David's going to guide us for the first 30 minutes, and then we will open it up for Q&A. So if you're joining us online, please make sure to put your questions in the chat. And of course, if you're live here on Clubhouse, request to join the stage, and we will aim to bring you up. Now, a few quick invitations, but not obligations before we get started. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be in Chicago for the incredible Creative Con with some of the Breakfast with Champions family, hosting a meetup, keynote, VIP dinner, VIP lunch, et cetera, et cetera. So we would love to invite, but not obligate everybody to come and join us. And then we'll be also...
Oh, I think he broke up.
Society.
Well, hold on. I think he broke up. So we'll be in San Francisco first with the LFG Society VIP dinner meetup, holding court and keynote again in Chicago after that. Again, after that, we will be at SoFi Stadium for one of our incredible masterminds and VIP experiences with some amazing people. Chris Gardner is going to be in the house. Have you ever seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness? We're blessed to have just unique individuals like Marie Diamond, as well, Marcellus Wiley from the Fox Sports and the Chargers. Just you never know who's going to show up, Nick. Anyway, let's get started. If you want to join us, one thing I want to remind this group, we have a text alerting community. It alerts you on the trainings and on all the meetups and holding courts and the VIP dinners and experiences and the GITEX tour, the Sigma tour, the Aspire tour, all the different things, Web Summit tour that we're on this year. But if you do not want to be invited to about 200 different things this year, do not text me because I do not want to offend you. And nothing is more discerning than someone who joins our text community and says, please stop texting me. Please don't join because we're going to text you. I can't stop it. It's just a text community that alerts you and invites you, not obligates you. I think too, if you're offended by being invited to shit, I don't think you belong in our community. Maybe belong into the Dead Poets Society where they don't talk or something like that. That may be more accommodating for you. But go ahead. If you do want to be invited to cool shit with cool people, like the Breakfast of Champion training that we do every Friday and on every platform, text me 949-298-2905. All right, enough dilly-dallying. We're 5 minutes into this session already. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, the future and the relativity of the future training. So many people have problems with the future. They limit themselves and their future by the meaning they give their past. It's the only limitation that they give because the future is determined upon your imagination, because everything in the future is uncertain except for the 24 hours that you're given every single day, except for the last day of your life, which you'll be cheated seconds, minutes, or hours. I guarantee that as well. Most people have a problem with the future because they stop themselves or they interfere with themselves from reaching their full potential, their ease, their acceleration and aggregation of what they want in the future, which is determined by their own meaning of the past, which then formulates the materialization and the monetization of their imagination. Because one thing holds true in the future, you never will overachieve your own self-image, which is created by you and co-created by you and your source to become the greatest resource that you can be. And in the relativity of that is a relationship that you have with the future, which is determined by your relationship of the past and how you are creating, co-creating your present. The future is not a fixed destination of certainty. The only certainty that exists in the future is that which lies within you, not outside of you, besides the God's guarantee of the 24 hours that you're given. And that unfixed or uncertain destination is a fluid construct. And in a fluid construct, it creates relativity or relationship, and it's shaped solely by meaning and perception. And the participation in that perceptions formulates our beliefs, our thoughts, and our words and actions. By understanding our relationship or relativity of the future, we can recognize our roles as co-creators of resources rather than mere passengers in a life's journey. Our thoughts and imagination are determined upon our vibrational energy, our frequency, which influences the realities that we experience, influences the awareness that we have when we are moving towards, progressing towards the future. We experience this, allowing us to transcend all limitations of the meaning of the past and our self-image and shape extraordinary, exponential outcomes that even will shock ourselves. The first lesson in understanding our relativity or relationship in the future is understanding vibrations and frequency and its relativity to our imagination or our self-image. It's important to note that vibration or frequency matters in context of our imagination self-image because everything vibrates at a unique frequency, including and most importantly our thoughts and emotions, the energy that we put into motion. And notating that the highest form of energy, the highest vibration, is the truth. Everything vibrates: the earth, animals, plants, sound, light, and thought. But the thought that vibrates the fastest is the truth, and the truth is our potential. And it is associated directly with creativity, with gratitude, the ability to find the light, the love, and the lessons, with our confidence and comfortability, our ease, that foster the growth and expansion of our innovation. And we have to realize as well as we have those positive behaviors at a higher frequency that progress towards our own potential, that the lower vibrations are the ones that interfere with it, that are linked to fear, doubt, stagnation, and they interfere or hinder progress. So bad behaviors and lower vibrations are interfering with our potential. And so why it matters is if we understand our frequency, then we can surround our future with the right frequency and vibration in order to manifest or co-create what we want and not limit as much, since it's infinite in its own being, not limit ourselves as much into the future. A good example is a musician who envisions a melody before ever playing a note. An entrepreneur sees a new business model before ever creating a product or selling a product. The ability of people to imagine the possibility, probability, and perspective shapes the reality that they create according to the 24 hours each day and the progress that they make with the behaviors that they institute intentionally by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, believing towards that imaginative success, exponential outcome that they're looking for without attaching or interfering in energy to it. The attachment of energy of what they think they want, an attachment to that and not to the progress or behaviors, will also create stagnation, interference, and a feeling of being stuck, overwhelmed, or cause procrastination. And so to understand the divine direction and to have the right perspective of the future, of the detours that we're taking, and to allow for divine time in the future by utilizing the man-made constructive guarantee that God has given us of 24 hours a day, that is the common denominator, the only certainty of the future. We need to cultivate our future, cultivate the environments that encourage us in order to accelerate, aggregate, and compound those outcomes exponentially, and surround ourselves in relativity of our future selves, not what we are, but what we are becoming and what is interfering with what we want to become. Engage in activities that elevate your vibrational state, utilizing any type of meditative activities When I say meditative activity, too many people think of when they meditate as just sitting in the ganj with their legs crossed and their thumbs together, visualizing what they want. No, meditative activities could be anything that puts you into the flow. Basketball can be a meditative activity. Smoking a joint could be a meditative activity. Taking a walk with your intimate other could be a meditative activity, as long as it allows you to co-create and visualize and to institute a gratitude exercise of feeling the light, the love, and the lessons coming through you in order to facilitate a higher vibration, elevating your awareness to your future, creating and breaking through the limitations that you've put onto yourself by the past and the meaning of the failures, mistakes, setbacks, voids, shortages, and obstacles, the arguments and disagreements and the interference that you've created by your reaction to a fear in whatever it is of a need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful. Whatever it is, worrying about the future is the greatest interference, and it's a duplicative negative. Every time that you worry, not only are you interfering with where you want to be or better, not only are you interfering and lowering your vibration and your awareness to how and what you can do and can create and become in the future, but worse, you're manifesting what you don't want, what's missing, or what other people want for you. We all need to know that the vibrations and the relativity to the future and the imagination and self-image is what matters, and that we need to foster the expansion and growth and in the innovation and the co-creation by being aware of the awareness that is created by the vibration and frequency that we and others surround ourselves in our relationship to where we want to be or better or become or better in the future. The second lesson is, how do we react to fear? So many of us talk about overcoming fear. You can't overcome fear. You can't out-analyze fear. You can't out-logic fear. You can't resist fear. Fear is omnipresent, and so is pain. And with pain comes a struggle and interference or a reaction. And you can't control, once again, fear, and you can't control your reaction to fear. But what you can control is how long you stay in that reaction, how long you do struggle, how long you do have a need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, worried, resentful, etc., etc. Fear and the reaction to fear creates a mental barrier that distorts our reality. It participates in a perception of interference and bad behavior, and it prevents us from making the right choices and aligning ourselves with the time, emotion, and value that changes every time we make a choice, a decision, or come to an agreement. So many fears are illusions, fabrications of the future. And in order to understand the fabrication of the future, we have to understand the relativity of the future and the meaning that we're giving it by understanding and looking for the clues and the patterns that are created by the instant and obvious reaction to fear. And utilizing and looking at the fabrications of the worst case scenarios and framing things into a negative trajectory, rather than understanding a genuine threat to take caution of, instead of reacting to an illusionary fear. And this happens all the time. Remember, the reaction to fear and the choice to struggle for how long is yours. But it's instant and obvious. When you're pissed off, if you're worried or resentful, angry, inferior, superior, separate, any of these reactions to fear that creates interference, it's instant and obvious. And so understanding the only certainty of the future is time, 24 hours in each day, we can quantify our progress by utilizing time to see how long are we spending worrying every day, angry every day, frustrated every day, separate every day, comparing every day, accelerating and interfering in the wrong trajectory every day, which tomorrow, I guarantee you, almost all of us will experience 24 hours in the same exact time frame, except a few of us will be cheated minutes or seconds, minutes, and hours. As a business leader who hesitates to enter a new market due to a reaction to fear, which is one of worry of failure or success or separation, inferiority, superiority, the FOPO or the FOMO, the fear of other people's opinion or the fear of missing out, While competitors see the same uncertainty as an opportunity to gain an early advantage, many leaders see it as a reaction to fear and end up wondering why they never are where they want to be or better. They don't trust the wisdom that they have or the faith that they're being protected, promoted, loved, and perfected. And it is more about how they react to fear and align with the time, emotion, and value that changes every time you make a choice, a decision, or an agreement quickly by assessing the situation aligned with your timing and risk tolerance. These leaders who hesitate, whether it's in the context, as we spoke earlier with Scott Simon and Ramon Ray, about these leaders in their families reacting to fear in uncertain trajectory, then also carries forward into those that they are leading as an intelligent follower by possessing the ability to ask what and how and what matters and meanings that they're giving it, and how and if they could help them. Would it help you if I got you that strength coach? Would it help you if I got that speed coach? Considering the meaning that you gave the past and what you want to become. The reaction to fear thrives on inaction. If you've ever read, as chairman of the Napoleon Hill Institute, I always bring up my favorite text and context and content of Napoleon Hill. If you've ever read Outwitting the Devil, that we know that the reaction to fear thrives in inaction, and that moving in accelerated, aggregated, compounding exponentially forward the outcomes that we desire or better. Notating that even with the uncertainty, that it diminishes our power and others' powers and leads to new possibilities only if we shorten the distance of resistance, not by trying to overcome it, overwhelm it, out logic it, out analyze it. Don't go over, under, through it, around it, lie to it, manipulate it, cheat it, or deny it. We need to know strictly what we want, who we can help and who can help us, and how to get that done, and understand when we're not in that trajectory, in that divine direction. When we can recognize the instant and obvious reaction to fear and utilize our attention to those clues, and then our intention to the patterns of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe in order to effectuate the choice and keep it aligned, managing and developing that choice, agreement, implied, written, even with consideration, when we can keep it aligned with time, emotion, and values that changes, and keep an open mind, open heart, and open hands to change and adapt, giving permission to ourselves to change and others to change our minds, to adapt to the circumstances of the day, the uncertainty of today, in order to get to an uncertain future, except for the certainty of time, by utilizing our own relativity of how we relate to or react to fear. If we can reframe the uncertainty as a source of a possibility, probability, and perspective, rather than interfering with us, creating a feeling of being overwhelmed, or worse, procrastination that paralyzes us through what? Logic and analysis, but you can't out logic fear. You can't out logic emotion. You can't out analyze either one as well. It is just simply to analyze the reaction to fear and then to utilize a reframing to get back to ease and to say, my mind, body, and soul are on fire. I need to stop, not go over it, under it, through it, around it, lie to it, manipulate it, cheat it. I got to stop, drop, breathe, get the ease, become a resource of our source, recollect with our source, remind with our source, remember with our source, and then roll back into what I want to become, who I can help and who can help me, and how best can I become that, utilizing the God's guarantee of 24 hours a day that's guaranteed me every single day of my life except for the last day. We need to overcome, utilizing wisdom and faith, shorten the distance of resistance by utilizing time, the reaction to fear. The third lesson lies within intention and the limitations that we put by reinforcing the wrong intentions of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. Our beliefs shape our experiences. The meaning that we give anything is ours. We give meaning to everything that we see, and that is what we will become. Those who focus in on what other people want, what's missing, what they don't have, that focus in on the limitations, that reinforce the barriers that we've created for ourselves that are limiting our self-image and our imagination, that who believe in the possibilities, probabilities, and perspectives expand their horizon, and those that believe in that which interfere with it interferes with it. And we see this all the time in business and in life. It is not the mistakes that we make that limit our future of what we want to become or better, or where we're going to be or better. It is simply the limitation of what? The limitation of our commitment and our desire. The limitation is our lack of ability to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of our own potential. The limitations are not in the mistakes. It is simply in our own lack of commitment and desire, the delta that's created by that. That is what causes us not to get to where we want to be or better, or slow down the progress, or accelerate the progress in the wrong direction. Look at one of my greatest heroes of the past in entrepreneurship, the amazing Thomas Edison, who understood failure in a relationship to the future of failure better than anyone I've ever seen, as he created 10,000 mistakes in order to create one of the greatest innovations, co-creations in the history of the world that still is utilized today and is a base or a foundation for so much joy and abundance that exists on earth in the human experience. He never once saw a mistake as an endpoint. When you talk about commitment, when you talk about consistent, persistent pursuit of a truth, a potential, a co-creation, and innovation, think about Thomas Edison next time you fail, and tell yourself, I'm only 9,999 more mistakes away from creating something amazing, extraordinary. This is the mindset that I use in sales. One of the most popular videos that I have, with I think over 4 million views now, is simply the no video. You're only 25 no's from getting a yes. So every time you get a no, if you're learning from that no and inspired by that no and enjoying that no, if you're enjoying what other people don't like or love, or what you don't like or love, you're that much closer to a yes. And Steve Jobs is someone who envisioned this world of transformation by utilizing the personal capability, or what they call the personal computer, long before others believed it was possible. Looking beyond Steve Jobs, even Bill Gates, as I was in 1999, 31 years old, in charge of the data division at Samsung's first convergence device, which is later known as a smartphone, utilizing Windows in order to effectuate what even I, as the CEO of that division, thought was incredible and maybe not even possible. To be able to use the internet on your hand in 1999 with a Bluetooth stylus that you could call within 12 feet of the phone, most people didn't believe it possible. My greatest example of this is one of the greatest legal scholars of all time, one of the greatest legal researchers of all time, Justice Scalia, one of our Supreme Court justices. Justice Scalia in 1992, when I demonstrated Westlaw to the Supreme Court of the United States in DOS with a 9600 baud modem on an XT computer that I wheeled in on a travel cart, after taking the time with dial-up service in order to facilitate an example of a slip and fall case in a grocery store, searching the California Reporter, utilizing it to find all the case law, utilizing Boolean language, slip/s, fall/p, quote unquote, grocery store. And in a matter of minutes, not seconds, not milliseconds, but in a matter of minutes, maybe 9 to 10 minutes, I presented the Supreme Court of the United States a complete list of all the case law according to slip and fall in a grocery store in California, in reverse chronological order, by legal precedent, and then able and capable to delve into the case law where it spoke about slip and fall in a grocery store, cut and paste that into WordPerfect 5.1 in a matter of 30 minutes, do what used to take 15 to 30 hours of billables. And when I did that, Justice Scalia's belief, as he commented to me, was very simple. Mr. Meltzer, that was very impressive, but I have to tell you one thing. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody will ever do research on a computer. You need books. Your beliefs dictate your future. I've seen it so many times. Your beliefs, contingent upon what you do, say, think, and feel, will dictate your future or limit it. Shifting your mindset from this limitation, this reaction to fear, to a possibility, probability, perspective, and reality creates the breakthroughs in business and life, or lifetimes. We are limited only by the meaning that we give the past, and in this lifetime, limited by time in this lifetime, which is why I believe in multiple lifetimes, only simply because nobody can prove to me there's not multiple lifetimes. And I love life. So I want as many lifetimes as I can. So I believe I get as many lifetimes as I can. So I also look in reality and the beliefs and limitation of the meaning of the past to the basement that I start at, the starting point of where I wanted to be. I believe anything's possible, just not in this lifetime. I believe that if we analyze our skills, our knowledge of who and what, we can determine according to what is available today, the circumstances of today, what's doing well, what's stable, what we think is going to do well. And we can determine, considering the delta that can occur each day and the uncertainty of how many days we're going to live, we are limited by the 24 hours of each day and the amount of days that we're going to live in order to effectuate the possibility, probability, perspective, and reality that we're dreaming of. And so I can dream all I want about being the number one point guard in the NBA, but knowing where my skills and knowledge level are today, it's going to take me many, 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 many lifetimes to get there. But if that's what I decide I want to become, I can start the process today by putting my attention and intention, by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing that I can be the number one point guard in the NBA. It just most likely is not going to happen in this lifetime. But a million lifetimes from now, considering the energetic and genetic inheritance that I receive by the intention that I give, will facilitate what that is. Utilizing our present in order to facilitate the future, as we stated, worrying about the future distracts or interferes with the opportunities available today, the 24 hours that we're guaranteed today. Living in that present, utilizing non-negotiable behavior that prioritizes our sleep, our health, our family, our fitness, our faith, our finance, our study of relativity, which you can see has helped me, and time. Living in the present sharpens our intuition, our intelligence, and our inspiration, fosters the resource that we are and the co-creativity that we are given as a resource, and builds momentum, the exponentiality of outcomes towards our future becoming success. We see this all the time, and there's a step-by-step. This is an unfortunate circumstance of man-made construct of time, is that time does not move in equal manner of outcomes. What I mean by that is if you are on a trajectory and it is analogized towards steps, and there was 1,000 steps that you needed to take, not 10,000 like Edison, just 1,000. If there was 1,000 steps that you needed to take to get to where you wanted to be or better, it would take you 1,000 steps. It would take you 90% of the time to get to 250 steps. And by then, most people quit because they're not living in the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential. They're not living in the present. And they don't know that although it took them 90% of the time to get to 250 steps, 5% more of the time will get them to 500 steps. And then 5% more of the time will get them to 1,000 steps, 100% of the way there. And then if they continue their effort in just 5% more of the time or faster, they'll be at 2,000 steps. This is the exponentiality. And we see this all the time in digital marketing. We see this in sales. We see this in life, in fitness, finance, and faith, and sleep. The progress like you made is made by the present in a enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Utilizing the future outcomes that are uncertain will determine where we want to be or better by the non-negotiable behaviors of sleep and family and finance and faith and relativity and time, of intentional behaviors, but also of our relationship to the circumstances of the day aligned with our future. Practice. Understand the non-negotiable, negotiable behaviors and the circumstances that exist today and the prioritization that's necessary according to what you want to become. Practice the mindfulness and the presence in the daily activities, negotiable and non-negotiable, in order to get to where you want to be or better. Focus on executing on those priorities each and every day, understanding that as we make choices for the future of what we want to become, that time, emotion, and value will change, and we constantly have to reprioritize accordingly, except for the non-negotiable behaviors of our sleep, our health, our family, our finance, our faith, our relativity, and our time. Trust that the enjoyment of the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your becoming will create your becoming. And then finally, I'm a toptimist. I'm the top of all optimists. I can find the light, the love, and the lessons and forgive myself for shit that other people wouldn't ever even consider forgiving. I take accountability through responsibility, attraction, and the participation in the perception of the future. This is what creates an optimist to live inspired. That's what optimists do. They are intelligent, intuitive, and inspirational. Optimism is that which fuels, through gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, the resilience to make sure that our purpose, our definite purpose, is greater than our pain. We become co-creators. We become resources, problem solvers, intelligent followers, leaders with a vision to inspire others and empower others, to empower others and inspire others to live in abundance, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. They utilize intention plus attention in order to facilitate coincidences, consequences, results, and outcomes that they desire, that formulate into good behavior, that formulate into good progress, and diminishes, utilizing time, the interference or bad behaviors, and constantly gets better and better and better. One of the other optimists that I study is the one who has created the greatest moment in sports of the last century. For over 100 years, Herb Brooks has led in that inspiration, in what people dream about, possibilities, probabilities, and reality. Herb Brooks led the U.S. hockey team to the #1 sports moment of the century, the historic Olympic victory, instilling intention to do, say, think, feel, and believe, to be able to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential, an impossible or seemingly impossible outcome. A bunch of college kids beating the most dominant sports team of all time still today, the Russian, quote unquote, professional hockey team. He created and co-created a vision of a future. He worked on the meaning of the past on each and every individual. He created an appreciation of the varying differences of each individual. He created a collective consciousness of attention and intention to shape an outcome beyond the external expectations or even reality of others. One of the things I strive for is when my reality surpasses other people's imagination. And the #1 sports moment of all time did that for millions, if not billions, around the world. He instilled not only what to do, say, think, and feel, but what to believe was possible for a bunch of college kids who weren't as talented, did not have the skills, the knowledge of who and what, but he utilized desire and diminished the interference of that desire and diminished the power that we all possess. We all have the exact same amount of inspiration. We all have the exact same amount of energy, emotion. We all have the same amount of intuition. He, to me, exemplifies someone who taught everyone to stop interfering with it. He changed the way they looked at things, and the things they looked at changed, and he drove it with a vision and optimism that had never been seen before. And even his own coaches, and even his own Olympic committee doubted him. almost fired him. But he used optimism as a strategic tool, not just a mindset. A tool of gratitude. He taught them to find the light, the love, and the lessons, to enjoy what other people don't like or didn't love. He taught them to enjoy what they didn't like or love every single day without quitting in the pursuit of the gold medal. And how do I know it was in pursuit of that potential? It went beyond, because most people don't even realize that the greatest feat of the U.S. Olympic hockey team in 1980 wasn't just getting there. It wasn't beating the Russians. It was after beating the Russians to beat the Swedish team in order to win the gold. After what everyone in the entire world thought was impossible, except for those people skating on ice, they won again. Because they didn't attach those emotions to an outcome. It wasn't about beating the Russians. It was about playing to their potential and winning the gold with a vision and optimism that has never been seen before, through gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. I want you to think about what bold outcomes you want in your life. I want to see and think about how you're interfering with your optimism and your vision. Are you utilizing the inspiration, intuition, and intelligence to facilitate an accelerated expansion towards what you want or better, or what you want to become or better? Does it align every day with the guarantee of God's 24 hours that he's given us, except for the last day of our life? Is it yours, or is it what's missing, don't have, or what other people want? Foster this optimism through the gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability in order to live in spirit inspired, and utilize your participation in your perspective to give a meaning of the past, align with the divine direction, utilize all detours like Thomas Edison as divine, and utilize divine time in a combination with the 24 hours of that you're guaranteed. Use those detours as opportunities, options, and touches of favor to be protected, promoted, loved, and perfected. Shorten the distance of resistance with wisdom and faith to innovate, expand, and grow. It is the vibration, the frequency, the relativity of the future that teaches us that we are co-creators. We are resources of our futures, of what we want to become or better. Our imagination should never limit us. Our self-image should never limit us. Do, say, think, feel, and believe in a trajectory, a divine direction. Utilize those divine detours and divine time. The future is not something that you need to react to when fear is present or omnipresent, and you can minimize the struggle. Both are omnipresent and will be with you every day. It is yours to design. A person or professional who embraces the co-creativity, the optimism, the adaptability, consistently, persistently will outperform those who operate in interference, fear, and rigidity. We all have the power to shape our future, align what we do, say, think, feel, and believe with the emotions, the energy and motion, the frequency and the vibration, the elevation of the awareness. Do you want to be the plants? Do you want to be the minerals? Do you want to be the sound, the light? Or do you want to be the thought? Or even the fastest vibrating thought, the truth of our desires, our delta? Enjoy the relativity of your future. Quit creating interference. Shorten that distance with wisdom and faith. This has been the Relativity of the Future training. Be more than happy to send everybody the exercise to this. Available, of course, for our private networking group as well. Please reach out if you'd like that exercise as guide. It'll help us all each day to practice, to progress to our better selves and our best potential. Nick Awam, it is your turn to reset the room and take some questions if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, David, for an incredible first half of the training here, focusing in on the relativity of the future. And of course, again, for everybody here joining us as we transition to the Q&A session, please, for everybody joining us online, make sure to put your questions there in the chat. And for anybody live here on Clubhouse, please use the hand icon to request to join the stage, and we will bring you up for your live question with David. And as a reminder for everybody, david@dmeltzer.com. Just email David directly if you would like the guide from today's training. If there are any reason you don't have a copy of his book, which of course he'll send a copy, signed a copy, and even pay for shipping. It's completely for free. Or if you would like to join us in person next week in Chicago, San Francisco, following week at SoFi Stadium, and of course, many incredible opportunities to come. Now, with that said, David, let's go ahead and start off live here on Clubhouse with the first question of the day. We got our good friend Brian Swift, that is ready to rock and roll. Brian, it's always great to see you here, my friend. Feel free to unmute yourself and start us off with the first question of the day. Oh, looks like Brian's, there he is.
Thank you again for David, such amazing wisdom and insights. So, and Nick, thank you. So my question, you talked about getting, those first 250 steps, and with only 5% more, if we just realized it was all, how far that next 5% would get us. Is there something you do when you get to, when you get to that 250 and you start to waver? Is there something you mentally go through that allows yourself to take those next steps?
Yeah, so it's actually every day. And that's what got me to the 90% of the way there. Because remember, most people, they lack the commitment in order to get to 90% of the way there because they don't have any evidence that they're getting anywhere. In fact, a lot of times all they have, like Thomas Edison, is contrary evidence that they're going to get there. And so the non-negotiable behaviors keep me to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. And that provides 90% of the 90%. It presents every day my ability to keep moving forward. Because if I allot time to recover and access information through my sleep, if I allot every day, 7 days a week, if I allot time to my health 7 days a week, to my family, to my finance, to my faith, to my study of relativity and my study of time, which may take 11 or 12 hours of the day, including my sleep, that leaves me 12 hours a day to climb more steps according to the circumstances of the day, and to prioritize and reprioritize all day long according to the circumstances of the day, allowing me to stay aligned with the time, emotion, and value that changes each and every day, allows me to stay aligned with the uncertainty of the future. Notating that it's the non-negotiable behavior every single day, including my sleep and health and family, that get me the most progress on those steps, and only 10% of the progress on the steps. So when you're at 250 steps, after 90% of the time that it takes to get there, only 25 of the steps are achieved by the circumstantial, the negotiable behaviors, the prioritization and the reprioritization of the inconsistency that is necessary in order to, one, facilitate non-negotiable behavior, because human nature hates consistent behavior, and two, facilitates the alignment with and the variant behavior that allows us to enjoy the non-negotiable, consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential. And so it's each and every day that puts us into a place that we don't care when we're at 90% of the way there, because we, like Thomas Edison, are consistently enjoying the pursuit of our potential, regardless of how many steps or how much evidence or contrary evidence there is. And so we're adapting through the negotiable behavior to the circumstances of the day and expanding into divine detours that allows for divine time to give us the revelation or reveal the outcomes that we wanted or better, as long as we're attentional and intentional about what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, and are consistent and persistent in the non-negotiable behavior. So there's no construct of a milestone of one-time analysis. It's a consistent, persistent analysis that continues us on the progress of 90% of the time it takes to get to 25% of the way there. 95% gets us to 50% of the way there. 100% of the time obviously gets us all the way there. 105% gets us to 200% of the way there. 110% gets us to 400% of the way there. That's the exponentiality. To complete the equation, it doesn't and isn't linear in its percentage. So it's actually faster. You know, if it takes 90% of the time to get to 25% of the way there, it's going to take less than 5% to get to 50%, and then less than another 5% to get to 100%, then less than another 5% to get to 200%, and less than another 5% to get to 400%. Because you're going to get better, because we get better by practicing behaviors. So the time should be faster and accelerated. I just use constant time in order to effectuate a clear understanding of the lack of commitment that most people have, because there's no evidence, or evidence is contrary to where you think you want to be or better.
Wow. Thank you so much. So staying present and consistent and enjoying that journey along with, you know, maintaining your non-negotiables is really key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's difficult because it's contrary to human nature not to respond to no evidence or contrary evidence. It's also contrary to human nature to do things consistently, because the simple things to do are simple not to do, simply because human nature is contrary to consistent behavior. Human beings don't like to be consistent by nature. So when we can create a commitment via time to a minimum amount of time on our sleep and health and family and faith and relativity of time and of relativity itself, whatever it may be that's non-negotiable for us, it's contrary to human nature. So we have to understand that we need the variant negotiable behavior as well to enjoy the consistent contrary human nature aspects of progress, which is consistency and also faith when no evidence or contrary evidence is present.
Oh, thank you so much. God bless. I look forward to seeing you at CreatorCon.
Yes, we'll see you in Chicago. Hopefully we'll see others in San Francisco, and hopefully we'll see others at SoFi Stadium. We got a powerhouse week coming up. Join us, david@dmeltzer.com. Get the exercise and guides from today. Join our private networking group today. Come and see us in person, david@dmeltzer.com. All right, Nick, who has the next question?
Absolutely. I'd actually suggest, why don't we go ahead and take a quick one online? I have one pulled up here, and then we'll come back to Clubhouse. Does that work?
Okay, yeah, I see one from College Malloy, but I think that's Colleen Malloy. She changed her name to College.
Oh, perfect. Do you want to go ahead and take it?
No, give me yours. I'll just save that one.
Okay, perfect. All right, perfect. So the one I have says, you said on your IG Live yesterday that luck is removing the resistance.
Oh, that's the one from College Malloy.
How has your definition of luck evolved? And yeah, perfect.
We got the same question. You and I, our minds are the same. So I'll read it off. You said on your IG Live yesterday that luck is removing the resistance to your greatest desires. How has your definition of luck evolved, and can you explain that? What a great question. So I used to think luck was preparation. The preparation provided options, opportunities, and touches of favor. It also provided key insights on what opportunity, option, or touch of favor to choose. Then it created better outcomes, and then people thought you were lucky. So that's how I used to define luck. When I shifted the paradigm to I am lucky, what am I doing to interfere with it? It realized that luck was created not just from preparation and determining options, opportunities, and touches of favor and prioritizing the opportunities, options, and touches of favor. It actually was far greater that I am lucky. I am lucky. What am I doing to interfere with it? If I am a co-creator, if I am a resource, if I am lucky, then all I got to do is figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it, knowing that what I'm doing to interfere with it is what? Reacting to fear by not doing what I need to do, by accelerating in the wrong direction, by not saying what I'm supposed to say, think what I'm supposed to say, think, believe what I'm supposed to believe, or feel what I'm supposed to feel. The reaction to fear. And so the definition of luck has changed for me. Instead of Preparation, practice creates options, opportunities, and touches of favor. Luck is created by prioritizing the options, opportunities, and touches of favor into exponential outcomes that others determine are lucky, into I am lucky. What am I doing to interfere with it? And that it's my job to remove or shorten the distance of resistance to my luck by utilizing wisdom of what I want, who I can help, who can help me, and how best to get it done in the circumstantial and non-circumstantial behavior, non-negotiable and negotiable behavior, and even moreover to understand that shortening the distance of resistance is not only from the wisdom of the who, I'm sorry, the what, the who, and the how, and prioritizing according now, but it actually is also a matter of faith that when there's no evidence or evidence contrary to where I want to be or better, or no evidence or evidence contrary to me being lucky, that I am, and that I'm being protected, promoted, loved, and perfected. I just don't understand right now the evidence. It is there. I just don't understand it. I'm not aware of it, or I don't understand, and I see it as contrary. That's how we shorten the distance of resistance. I am lucky, not I need to prepare for luck, determine how to prioritize the options, opportunities, and touches of favor that are created by that preparation. Inherently, if I am lucky and I'm shortening the distance of resistance, I'm doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing what I need in a trajectory, divine direction. I'm shortening or taking divine detours, and divine time will illustrate my luck to others according to their conditional perspective of the outcomes in my life. What do you say to that, Nick?
Incredible, so incredible that my fat thumbs are having trouble getting unmuted. This is my first time here on Clubhouse. But, with that said, thank you so much, David. And for our next question here, we have Eric Meltzer, who is ready to rock and roll. Eric, it's great to see you here, my friend. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Hey, oh wow, thanks. Didn't have a question, but gosh, yeah, you caught me off guard a little bit. I would just say, good. Yeah, I really would just say that I really resonate with Dave and just how you're talking about having those non-negotiable things, and I really find that. Yeah, with my meditation, my spirituality, it basically allows me to be in tune and to get out of my head, and really it's like a state of like game naturally without pursuit. So I really appreciate what you had to say.
I appreciate you appreciating. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Eric, and appreciate you as well. Nick, do you want to take someone online or I mean on Clubhouse, or want me to take a question online?
We can go ahead and take one on Clubhouse. I know Brent has a question for you. So Brent, happy Friday, my friend. It is all yours.
Happy Friday. Lots of love. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too, man. I love you too. It's great to be a part of your community and learn from your wisdom. So here's a question. So the ongoing theme is, fear is an illusion. Fear doesn't exist. Fear is all in your head.
Not in my world.
Yeah, seriously. So how do you kind of combat that when there's a natural nervousness about pretty much everything we do, but we're not supposed to like think about what the reaction is and all these other people, but yet we do constantly. So in the essence of your teachings is kind of in line with what we've learned from you. So does this have anything to do with non-negotiable behavior, or is this just this whole separate thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's relative to non-negotiable behavior in the respect that I want you to shift your paradigm of fear. You said it yourself that, worry or fear is omnipresent. It's continual. It's part of human nature. When we are uncertain about something, we react to it. When we are presented with something that we don't understand or know, we react to it. When we are presented with something that we perceive to be dangerous, uncertain, or we don't know, we react to it. And so instead of worrying about what we perceive to be a threat of whatever sort that I just described or others, what we should focus in on is our reaction to it. And we want to shorten the distance with wisdom and faith, utilizing time in order to facilitate staying at ease longer. Because the more at ease we are, the more in the flow we are, and the more that we will be able to utilize the omniscient and all-powerful source and become better resources. Recollecting, reminding, and remembering more of the 24 hours each day with the unbelievable, omniscient, and all-powerful source of being that resource, a co-creator. And so fear to me is the indicator that we have a better place, a better position to be in the future. And the relativity of that is dependent upon how am I reacting or interfering with that opportunity, option, or touch of favor that's created by this divine detour. And so many of us don't take the easier route by studying the reaction to fear. Instead, we spend millions of dollars in therapy and personal development and other areas trying to figure out what we're afraid of, instead of taking a disciplined approach of reacting to fear and understanding and elevating our awareness to how do we react to fear in the best context to shorten the distance of resistance it created by the reaction to fear. The need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be separate, the need to be inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, or worried. All of these different interferences are stopping us from getting to a better future. And so I want you to shift the paradigm of fear as the interference to your own potential, to what you want to become, instead of trying to figure out what you're afraid of. And in that paradigm shift, you will find great ease and a dissipation and a diminished capacity for dis-ease. Does that sound fair, Brent?
That sounds fair. Lots of love to you guys.
I will see you soon. We will see you soon. We'll be in New York April 15th at the NASDAQ. We want everybody to join us at NASDAQ Mastermind, VIP cocktail and dinner parties. Come and join us in New York City on April 15th. Coming up right after the Masters. It's going to be an incredible. We are packed through June every single week, 200 cities this year. Please reach out to me if you want the exercise and guides on the relativity of the future. Anything else I could be of service, joining our private networking group, david@dmeltzer.com. Nick of WOM, we have time for one more question.
Absolutely. And we have Eamon for the final question of the day. Eamon, unmute yourself, and it is all yours.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, Nick. Well, in the happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I love you. So, with the love day, we tend to get so frustrated about the people that we love, and I think that love is something that is connected to a lot of fears, a lot of different attachment styles. How can we use the relativity to the future to eliminate that fear, or to eliminate how we react to it, because we cannot eliminate the fear at all?
Yes. So the more we care about someone, the more elevated our fear is, right? We have fear of loss, fear of other people's opinion, fear of missing out on that love. We have the fear of being left, all these different things that happen. And the more we love someone, the more we care, and the more resistance that we create because we care. I tell my kids all the time when they get into arguments, and they inevitably, as teenagers, will tell each other, I hate you. And I laugh, and they look at me, and I said, you guys make my heart sing. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, obviously you love each other so much that you're bothered by your activities and your actions and your thoughts and your words so much, because you care so much what each other thinks and feels and believes and does and says. It makes my heart sing that I've been a great parent, that you love each other that much. I just suggest that you use a different way to express your love than telling each other you hate each other. And so in the context of fear, that's how they're reacting to the fear of other people's opinion. And we fear missing out and fear other people's opinion of those that we love the most. And so in this time of love and Valentine's Day, as we finish up, I want you to shift the paradigm from FOMO and FOPO, the fear of other people's opinion and the fear of missing out from the ones that we love the most, into Jopo and Jomo, the joy of missing out and the joy of their opinion, and then react accordingly so that you create more ease and less dis-ease with the people that you love. All right. I appreciate everyone. It's 7:01 here in Pacific time, right on time. The Nick of Wam, the well-oiled machine. Please, everybody, if you want the exercise and the guides from today, if you want information on San Francisco, Chicago, SoFi Stadium, the Masters, New York City, just to name a few, let alone the Aspire Tour, GITEX Tour, Sigma Tour, Web Summit Tour. If you want to know about Florida, if you want to know about Nashville, if you want to know about any of the things that we're doing, david@dmeltzer.com. I see it in the notes. Why don't you just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. It's easy, not dis-easy. Remember, everyone, be kind to your future self on Valentine's Day. Do good deeds. We appreciate you all. Nick of Wam, close out the room. Thank you, everyone, so much. We are blessed to be here, blessed to have everybody here on Valentine's Day. This has been the Relativity of the Future training. Please join us with a private networking group. Join us in San Francisco, Chicago. Join us at the SoFi Stadium. Join us in Irvine Towers. Join us in Florida. Join us in New York City. Join us at the Masters. Join us everywhere we're going to be, 200 cities. David@dmeltzer.com. If you want to join us and want to be alerted where to join us, then text me 949-298-2905. All right. Enjoy your holiday, everyone. Good to see you, Howard Cash, my cousin. I love you. I can't wait to see you at one of these things I'm doing in person. It's been way too long. Eric Meltzer is not related to me, but Howard Cash is. Who would have thought? Anyways, I look forward to seeing everyone. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.